Okay. Good evening, everybody. Right after we lost Mr. Feinstein, Rabbi Shua, right away the young fellows, the two of the three are here tonight, said right away, we must learn for him. We must learn Mishnah for him, because Rabbi Weissblum has told everybody many, many times that Mishnah is the same Hebrew letters as Neshama, as soul. And you know, when you lose somebody, people strive to try to find a way to be connected. They donate this and they'll pray that, and everybody tries to find what's right for them. But I think most people would agree that when you learn Torah for someone that you lost, that's the absolute best connection. You're sharing the Torah with them. You have a real connection over there. You're sharing the reward with them. And it's the best thing you could get to having a telephone call or an email to your dear departed person. The great Rosh Yeshiva of Torah V'das, Rabbi Palm of blessed memory, so he said, you know, people do so many different things when they lose somebody. They'll donate something to the shul. Some people will donate a building, a playground. I mean, you've heard it all. It's all scholarship. But he said, when a relative of the person leads services, or if someone dedicates Torah learning to that person, Rabbi Palm really said this, it's like wrapping up a hot kugel and sending it up there to the person. I know you don't eat in the afterlife, but he was just trying to say there's a lot of things people do, but he said that's like from the best. To learn Torah or to lead services for them, that's a very very big thing. And I want to mention to the Mishpacha's credit, the Feinstein family, right after we lost Gerry, they sponsored a whole bunch of classes at my downtown group from Yeshiva Saw Torah. So there's plenty of Torah, and of course now we have this Torah here. So there are actually two sets of Mishnayos that were learned in memory of Mr. Feinstein. There's one that I did on my own, Mishnayos Taros, and Zev and Yitzi and our other friend Aviezer, they've been learning Mishnayos Nedarim, which we started with Dr. Friedman. So Gerry is like in 40 places at once. This Torah, he's like a franchise. He's got Torah going all over the place. So it's just, he's getting dividends up there. What can I tell you? But which I think I would understand from Sharon, that's the way he would have wanted. Torah dividends coming in from all over the place. And I'm going to embarrass Sharon a little bit, but no, you won't mind this. Right before Gerry passed on, Bruce and I, we couldn't have a learning session here that particular night. There was a problem. Bruce and I went to the hospital, the facility. I don't know where we were. I got lost and you got me unlost.
Yeah, it was Genesis over in, where? Lemberg? Severna Park.
The 17th planet from the sun, whatever it was. And we went there and we learned Rambam together with Gerry. That was actually the last time we saw him. We were learning Rambam there together with Gerry. And for some reason, Gerry said, you're having problems with your computer and your printer. I have a printer I'm not using. I want you to have it. And he was like adamant. You know, they say when someone's about to leave the world, sometimes they say things or they do things as if they know something. They may not even realize if they know it, but like things happen. And he was, because Sharon knows better than me, he was extraordinarily adamant, Tzvi has to have that computer. Now, just if you knew his personality at all, he said, I can't go home right now, and my wife isn't so computer savvy. I need someone of slightly above average intelligence who will be able to disconnect the printer and get it over to Tzvi. I got to find this person. It was his daughter, and his daughter has a master's degree from college. I guess she took care of it. But what happened was, the issue was I had a color printer. And Gerry explained to me, people who have color printers have color problems. Gerry said if you have a simple black and white, those from the computer world know. A regular black and white gives you a lot less sorrows. That yes, right? So Gerry said, listen, so I want you to know, You know the story in the Torah with Elisha the prophet, where he kept pouring the oil for the widow, and it just went on and on and on and on. She kept bringing vessels, and it kept going on and on and on. Gerry's printer should have run out of ink, I think 3 months ago, but it's endless goes on, and a lot of Torah has been printed out on Gerry's printer on my computer. So it's as if he knew he was going to go, and someone had to disconnect it, and I got to get that printer plugged into Karp's computer, because Mrs. Karp and Harry Karp are going to be doing a lot of Torah. So like I say, he has Torah merits jumping all over the place from Glen Burnie. So you never know. Okay, so this is from the very last Mishnah in Taurus, and all this learning belongs to Gerry. And I wish we could send Gerry a knish, but if someone figures out how to do that. But we'll send this instead. Okay, this is the end of Mishnayos Taros. When all we Jews relocate to Israel, there's going to be a new level of kashrus. You think Passover's crazy? Wait till you see what's coming. We're going to have to be very careful about spiritual purity. Everyone's going to be running to the mikveh, everybody, because we're going to be careful about things that you never even dreamed of, but they're in the Talmud. And Mishnayos Taurus discusses how to prepare different vessels to make sure they're ritually clean, they didn't come into contact with anything that could be a problem. And to us right now, it's not that useful, but when the Jews relocate, it's going to be a big deal. So it says like this. It's talking here about a wine press and an olive press that somebody wanted to make sure it was spiritually pure to carry on. So it says over here like this. V'ha'ekel. So an ekel is part of a press that you push down on the fruit with, and you get more juice. So v'ha'ekel bizman shehein shel eitz menagvan v'hein tahorin. If there's an ekel that from the press, and you want to make sure, this fellow, Rabbi Blackman calls it a pressing bag. If you want to make sure it's just right, give it time to dry, wipe it off, and whatever is there should be okay. V'hein tahorin, it'll be pure. Go ahead and use it for whatever. That's if it's wood, you dry it out and you wipe it clean. Sounds a little bit like Pesach cleaning. Bisman shehein shel gemi, but if the tools in the olive press you're using are made out of reed material, miyashtan kol shnei masachaydish, let it sit around and get old for a year. And you may have heard sometimes with different kosher questions, sometimes things have to sit around for a while. That doesn't automatically make them kosher, you have to do something else. But over here it says, if it's made out of reeds, let it sit for a year, and then you'll go on to the next step, cleansing it, be spiritually pure. If you don't want to wait a year, you can do the famous hot water trick, the old hot water trick, which Rabbi Weisblum has guided Steve to do here in your kitchen. And let me tell you how religious you are. You thought you were religious? Boy, are you religious around here. Steve told me Rabbi Weisblum has him do a practice koshering and then a real koshering. Steve calls it, the practice Eroi, then the real Eroi. So whatever chametz is in there is dead and lonely. So it's safe to eat from there. So that's what this Mishnah says here. Well, if you want it to be just right, the tools of the olive press, you may have to do some boiling in water, and then you wipe it off, and then you'll be ready. Rabbi Yossi Aimer, he goes, I got a great idea. He goes, let's have some fun. And this is really for Annapolis. He goes, let's say you have something you want spiritually clean, and you don't want it to sit around for 12 months. You don't want to do the boiling water. I got a great idea. In the Sanan Bishibola Sanor Dayo. Not Deo, that's Harry Belafonte. This is Dayo. He goes, if one placed them in a swift current of a stream, the power of the stream, that'll clean up the junk there, wipe it off, and it'll be spiritually clean. So how good for Annapolis. Imagine somebody, they have something all gunky. That's a Bill Cosby word. It's not a real word. You have something all caked on, you're having trouble getting it off. You just go somewhere in Spa Creek where the water's going fast, and wear a life preserver so Mr. Sliam won't have to pull you out, fish you out. He goes, hold it in the strong part of the river, and that'll hopefully clean it off, and you'll do whatever you have to do. Hadrulach Masechtas Taris, Hadrulach Masechtas Taris, Hadrulach Masechtas Taris, and a common Talmudic blessing is just as this piece of Torah is about purity, it should give the benefit of purity of soul to our friend Gerry Yeshua Feinstein.
Thank you.
Yiskadei v'yiskadei shemei rabba v'yamod yivrak yosei v'yamik makusei v'chayikon v'yamekon uv'chayei l'kol beis Yisrael v'agala uv'zman karid v'mru amen. Yehei shmei rabba m'varach v'olam olamei olmayah yisparach v'yishtabach v'yispa'ar v'yisramah v'yistasei V'yisadar, v'yisaleh, v'yisalo, shemei l'kusha, ridvut. La'elam, v'rvasa v'shirasa, v'shvachasa v'nekamasa, t'amiram v'yama, v'mru amen. Al Yisrael, v'al-Rabbanan, v'al-Tamideim, v'al-Kol Tamideis, Tamideim, v'al-Kol man da'askim, v'al-Reisa, v'yivasra ha'dein, v'yivachal, asar, Yehei lahom, v'lachom, shamarabba, kina v'chista, karachim v'chayin arikin, v'mzani v'miche, v'furkarim v'karim v'hom v'yishmaya, v'mru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayin v'leinu, v'alkol Yisrael, v'mru amen. V'oseh shlama rabba, v'yaz shalom v'leinu, v'alkol Yisrael, v'mru amen. Especially when I thank Mrs. Feinstein, she's a bubby cooking for 2 families coming, but to come here to learn Torah in Annapolis, she's here.
la la la